Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I want to speak about how your brain lies to you. It is a liar, okay? You have certain storylines and paradigms and labels that are just not the truth. We as human beings, we love to fantasize. We love to fantasize and just chew on ideas, right? Just to get the taste of them. Just to get the taste of them, never really digesting them. Never really taking the ethereal and making it material. Right? So a lot of people get focused on the good feelings of an idea rather than creating a good idea outside of their own heads. And our brain lies to us. It likes to chew on the idea. It's like, yum, this is so good. I love this idea. This is the greatest idea ever. It's better than any idea that ever existed. I know that I got this idea and it's amazing. And then what you start doing, you get a dopamine rush from that. But then you start telling your friends about that idea. And then you get a second dopamine rush from that. And actually the enjoyment of keeping yourself talking about it and thinking about it and talking about it and thinking about it and telling your friends and doing this and doing that about it, but never actually creating it. Because it feels better to enjoy being in that fantasy and getting those dopamine rushes than you actually sitting down and doing something and creating that idea, putting it on a piece of paper or writing it down. A lot of us have this understanding that we're just going to start writing something and it's going to go great the first time. Or we have an expectation that this thing that we're working on is like one time we just do it all and it's perfect just as it is and then it's done. It doesn't work like that. You see this image of this poet understanding that he's writing and writing and writing and has all these different scraps of paper and it's like a scrap heap of different ideas. This is an issue that I used to have, guys, is I wouldn't throw my ideas away. I used to get identified with the ideas that I had. And I thought, this is a great idea. I don't want to lose it. And I'm so attached to it that I don't want to give it up. And I used to chew on it and chew on it. And I used to love the dopamine hit of just keeping that idea in my mind. But guess what? Nobody knows that idea. It does not exist out into the physical world. So what, you have an idea? So what, you are a great idea maker? Anybody can, just chew on different ideas. They can get stoned one night and write like a different idea and just be like, man, this thing is going to change the world. But it's what you choose to do with that idea that is actually going to change the world. So it's better to write the story first before you tell 20 people. It's better to start the gym first than when you start promoting it. Your head is going to tell you, you should just leave it in your head, keep thinking about it, right? Just keep mentally masturbating. Just keep having, instead of making it have legs, to make it something interesting out into the real world, just keep it in your head. The truth lies in it getting out of your head and into the real world. From the fantasy to reality. You're a good person. This person watching this, I know you're a good person. I know you deserve love, creativity, friendship, abundance, joy, all of these things. But I'm guessing you don't believe that. And already your brain is coming up with dozens of ways in which what I told you isn't true. No, this guy's a liar, he's just being nice and maybe he doesn't know me. He's mistaken about me. You see, I'm a fraud. Maybe I'm a fraud. Right? It's not even I'm a fraud, it's this maybe. It's this feeling of 50-50. It's like I'm an imposter maybe, or I don't think so. But I'm talking to you specifically, the person watching this video, right? You don't believe that. And the reason is you don't feel like you're a good person or that you deserve to be happy. And so you take that feeling of what I've said to you and you create an opposition, you create a conflict. You want to reconcile it, but there's this cognitive dissonance in the way. You might say that that's wrong. But what's wrong is the perception of you. What makes you say that you're not a good person? What makes you say that you're not a person who deserves joy, abundance, and all these great things? Who sold you that reality? Who sold you that negative reality that told you couldn't do something? Who got that into your head? Who brainwashed you, bro? Because you're capable of anything that you set your mind to. There's so many limits. And our thoughts aren't accurate. At times it just doesn't reflect reality. And sometimes you make mistakes. That's okay. The great thing is that you learn from them. And you don't make the same mistakes over and over again, right? But nobody wants to confront that idea that they can't trust their own brain and that their perception is inaccurate. They want to feel that other people see the world exactly like they see the world. It's easier to think that other people are mistaken, not me. It's other people's fault, not mine. The brain lies to you because its only job is to help you survive and to preserve your ego and to do certain things and try and predict the future. But guess what? There is no value in trying to predict the future. All you can do is work on controlling the present moment, and that's the biggest indicator of the future. How you're doing things in the now. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you were in a police interrogation, right, and you couldn't acknowledge being a witness because you saw the guy in like a funhouse mirror, just like that, your self-image is skewed, like you're looking into some kind of a funhouse mirror. It's distorted. You might be incredibly good looking, but you think you're the ugliest person on the planet. You might be incredibly strong, but you see yourself as a weak piece of crap. You might be the most charismatic person in real life, but you feel like, using emotional reasoning, that you're socially anxious and you can't talk to others. Just because you're feeling awkward does not mean you're being awkward. Just because you're feeling sad does not mean you're being sad. And that you're a sad person. Don't identify yourself with your emotions. Don't emotionally reason. You are actually a much better person than you think you are. You're absolutely much more capable than you think you are. And I know that for a fact. But if you grew up believing like the animal that you knew was a dog is actually a cat, it broke your some degree of certainty that you had in the world. So nobody likes to confront the fact that they're wrong. Nobody likes to confront that. Everybody wants to be right all the time. Where we have a brain that is a little bit defective, okay? Now, I don't even want to call it a mental illness, but if your brain is insecure, if you're paranoid, if you're anxious all the time, if you fear abandonment, embarrassment, just know that your brain is trying to protect you and it's a caretaker. And it's just trying to predict the best outcomes for you, but you're creating and predicting the worst outcomes. And it can be like that at times. You just gotta call out the distortions and the glitches that are there in the programming. Reality is just a lagging indicator of what you choose to do in this moment. And you are your reps. Your reps, what you do in repetition, is what that makes you. So if you're a writer and you just keep writing, guess what? You're a writer. Nobody can take that away from you because you keep doing it. And you keep doing it. And somebody might come along and be like, man, you're a bad writer. I don't like your writing. Well, guess what? I'm a writer. You can't take away that fact because I've been doing it over and over and over again. Because I like doing it. Not because somebody told me to do it. Because I was curious about writing and I got that doorway to open up for me. And I kept putting myself in the circumstances and situations where I put my pen on a piece of paper or I put my fingers on the keypad. The biggest question you want to ask yourself as this creator, knowing that your brain lies to you, knowing that it doesn't want you to succeed, it just wants you to survive, knowing that, are you being more or are you being less? Is it just that you're just asleep at the wheel, that you're just not mindful enough? That things are happening, there are opportunities, possibilities out there, they're just passing you by like cars on a freeway. Where am I asleep? Where am I not paying attention? Where can I be more than I am already? Where can I be more? Where can I accelerate? Where can I speed up? Where can I show up more fully? Where am I still playing small? Most people, when they're faced with a decision, they go immediately to their brain. And they look for the intellectual reasoning. Immediately, if you go to your logos or logic, and you try to break it down, well, if all of the facts are aligning, I see that this fact here is correlating to this next factor. And if you take this other factor, then you're taking it to a different level of this previous factor. And in fact, if you keep going, you will start to notice a pattern. Okay, look, let's not even go there, right? Let's focus on the feeling. What are you feeling? I feel that you're making me feel that way. No, that's not a feeling. It's not. A feeling is, I feel sad. Okay, that's a signal. It's a signal. That's all your brain is telling you. But your brain wants to convince you that your sadness means something about you. And oh, you're a lower vibration, or oh, you're the sad kind of a person. But are you sad, or are you putting yourself into a sad state? Or are you turning the lights super dim and listening to gothic music, self-harming all the time? If you're doing those behaviors, guess what it's telling you? You're identifying with being a sad person. And so we create this emo culture, this goth culture, whatever it is, right? We've made it trendy to feel bad. And that's all right. It's like making it a superpower, right? I don't have anything against that. That's completely, like, legit. You do your thing, right? You put it out there. You own it. You own your emotions. These are my emotions. I'm owning it. I'm going to go into the darkness. That's powerful. But if you are putting yourself into these states of negativity consciously, knowing that if your posture is like this, you're going to feel worse. Whereas if your posture is much more straight, you know you're going to feel better. We know these things, but we don't consciously choose to give effort into changing those things around. We're not anxious. We're just putting ourselves into anxious states. Right? We're not angry. We're putting ourselves into angry situations all the time. How many times have you put yourself into an angry, triggering situation? And we do this over and over again because we're actually addicted to some of those emotions. Let's get real with ourselves. So most people go to their brain, trying to have this life. But what are you feeling? I feel sad. I'm sad because it's meaningful to me. I feel angry. And that's a signal. It's a signal that I feel powerless like right now and I can't control a situation. You have a circle of control, and then you have something outside of your control. So if you're trying to go outdoors and trying to control the weather, it's like, man, it's raining again. Is there really a use to get angry at the fact that it's raining again? Because you can't control it. You're going to have to deal with it, right? It's like, oh man, stuck in traffic. Can you control that traffic? Can you be like Bruce Almighty and just like, and all the cars move along the side, right? Can you do that? I don't think so. But what can you control? You can control the way you interpret that situation. You can control your breathing. You can control your attitude. You can control what you do with your body and your mind. You can control how you respond to that activity, right? So let's focus on what we can control, not on what we can't. And you know your brain is a liar. Your mind lies. That's what it does. It likes to concoct stories. It likes to, feed its own drama and live there. But your heart can never lie. Your feelings can never lie to you. If you feel like something is off, you're probably right. You see, your heart is smarter and more electromagnetically powerful than your brain. And we also have a third intelligence called the gut instinct. So what you're eating is also influencing that intelligence. Your instinct, right, comes from down here. It's a feeling in your stomach. Like when you feel that fire in your belly, that's your instinct telling you something. That's your passion. It's your primal drive. So is it really anger, or is it your ferocity? It's your motivation, the grit that gets you moving in the world. Is it really sadness, or is it that empathy, that poetic deep spirit within you that wants to feel things and wants to go into the intimacy and the vulnerability of the moment? We've got to go deeper within the surface level of the emotion. The surface level is going, oh, let's just feel the top level of the emotion. There's numbness. But we don't go underneath to confront the shock, the trauma, and the confusion from a certain event that we've had. So we look numb on the outside. We're apathetic. I don't care, man. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, she cheated on me. I don't care, whatever. We do that. But then inside we feel like, oh, man, this thing is just bothering me. And the moment you confront it, that's the moment you set yourself free. You set yourself free because you say it out. And what needs to be said is said out into the external world. And as it's said, it's like a magic spell. It releases you from the captivity of your mind. And maybe you felt like you've been captive in your mind, just holding on to your own thoughts, holding on to your own feelings, holding on to everything and not sharing it with others. Now it's time to start sharing it with others. It's time to start texting your friends and how they made you feel. It's time to send that voice message to that person in the past who hurt you. It's time to do all of those things to close those gaps and get yourself back into your own personal power. I hope this video helps you out today. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.